I'm actually a pretty big fan of solo queuing in Valorant, but I don't think that's a shared opinion in the community. From what I've seen, it seems like a lot of people prefer to play with a duo or in bigger parties. The reasons I hear for this are usually things like it's way more fun to play with friends or I can't trust my solo queue teammates. Well, what if I told you that these things aren't really the fault of solo queue or the community, but rather an indication of the type of player you are, and by understanding this and taking accountability, you too can enjoy solo queuing and get more out of it. For starters, when reading the title of this video, there are a couple of ways to interpret what I'm saying. The most common way is that you might think that I'm saying that you as a player literally suck at Valorant, as in you're bad at the game. Another way is that you, the player, suck to be around, and that you being on a team makes it not an enjoyable experience for the rest of your team. I.e., Valorant itself is not a bad game, but you and your attitude towards the game is what is bad. In this video, I'm going to be covering both of these interpretations. To start off, let's talk about how you probably suck at Valorant and why that might contribute to a bad experience for you as a player, since it's the most straightforward. For starters, this video assumes that you as a player want to climb up the ranks, since if you didn't, then you probably wouldn't care if you sucked. I mean, why would you? So operating under that assumption, chances are you get frustrated when you don't see yourself climbing, or worse, when you see yourself D-rank. D-ranking can be especially frustrating because it can almost feel like you're backtracking, or that your skill is deteriorating. Of course, this isn't true because you're obviously still the same player regardless of what emblem the game displays in the loading screen, and I think a lot of players know this instinctively. That's why whenever you ask someone why they're down 1 or 2 ranks, more often than not they'll say something along the lines of, "Oh man, my teammates have been so bad recently." And yes, that may be true, but over time if you keep a level head, those bad games should even themselves out in the long run. The problem I always see, however, is that a lot of players think they deserve a higher rank than they do, and use their teammates as a scapegoat for their lack of skill to actually reach that higher rank. I.e., you suck. The truth is that if you were the player that you think you are, you'd eventually climb and hit that rank that you see yourself as. But what's more likely is that you have a couple of games where you're getting a bunch of kills, or maybe you're doing it pretty consistently, I don't know. But unfortunately, getting a bunch of kills does not equate to winning games. There's a lot more to it than just farming stats. And using the scoreboard as a way to justify your poor performance and middling win rate is going to keep you where you are. The opposite's also true. Kills aren't everything, but they're still pretty important. And I've seen many players who say things like, "Oh, I might not have a ton of kills, but I was doing my job." Well, in solo queue, your job is to win the match, and you didn't. So obviously something's missing here. I think that it's likely your expectations for yourself are too high, and you'd probably benefit from being a bit more humble when playing Valorant. I don't want to spend too much more time on this topic since I'm on a schedule here, but I think you guys get the point. Now the second topic I want to cover was that Valorant as a game doesn't suck, it's just that your attitude towards it does. This is a much bigger topic to cover, so I'm going to do my best to try to cover as much as possible. For one, solo queue is actually really fun. A lot of the things I hear people say about why they hate solo queue is stuff like, "Oh, my teammates are toxic, they never calm," or "my teammates don't know how to play the game," or something along those lines. But let me pose this question to you. How often do people strike up conversations with you in real life? If you're not in school, or even if you are, chances are it's not very often. At least for me it isn't. In my experience, if you're not the one taking initiative, nothing's going to get done. Valorant is no different. If you want your teammates to calm in your games, you need to be the one that starts the conversation. As early as agent select, you should be asking your teammates what comp they want to run, asking them what they want to play, and what role they might want you to fill. The problem is that I know you're not all doing that because I play this game too, and I rarely see it happen if I don't do it myself. It's also up to you as the individual to set the tone for your team's dynamic as well. If the first comm in a game is a toxic one, what do you think the tone of the rest of the game is going to be like? If nobody was talking all game and after round 1 some bozo makes fun of a player for whiffing an easy shot, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, fuck that guy, but still, it's kind of your fault for letting it get to this point. But if you decide to be the first person to speak and you see an obvious bad play, but let that player know, "Hey, it's fine, we'll get them in the next round," the tone of the game is completely different. That guy probably knows he messed up, and even if he doesn't, try to let them know how they can play better in the next round in a way that doesn't discourage them. At the end of the day, solo queuing in Valorant has a communication component to it that's different from a 5-stack. You have to have good people skills since you not only have to convey information concisely, but you also have to do it in a way that takes into account the emotions of the people in your team. I personally have been doing this, and most of my solo queue games have been good experiences, where a large portion of the team is calming and working together, trying to win the game. But again, it all starts with you. When you do this, Valorant, and yes, even solo queue can be a ton of fun. Anyways, that's all I had for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. Also, let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my points. I'd love to hear your opinions on the topic. If you want to see more videos from me, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It's been fun as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video.